Welcome to the Positive Sports Podcast. I'll be your host this afternoon, Ed Montana. Alongside me today from the virtual world, my brother Alex. Alex, how you doing?
I am virtually here.
Well, I'm not here. As you can see, I'm in the heavens above with the light shining upon me.
It's almost like we should cue the music. You know what I mean? Like when you're at church. Yeah, something like that.
Some church music.
Hey,
if anyone doesn't believe that I'm a saint, I mean, I've got the halo now, right?
that's just a ball spot, brother. Hey, I got a question for you before we get started.
Yeah.
I seen a text from you that came through. Your text was, "Hey man, I'm gonna go watch the UFC fights at 1 p.m. tomorrow at Hooters. If you want to come by and join me." I got the text yesterday at 1:45.
Yes, so you got it on Sunday, a whole day later?
Well, you put 1 p.m. tomorrow, which I'm guessing you text me on Friday.
Right.
Because the fights were Saturday.
Right.
All right. So, contrary to popular belief, I tweeted at you and Cousin Jay saying my phone broke.
I never saw that.
So I tweeted that out Thursday night. And it was in the middle of the first quarter of the Eagles and Giants game. And so I tweet that out because my phone broke. Like it shattered. It I don't know what the hell happened. I got into some entanglement and the phone fell flat on its face on the tile, and that was it. So I didn't get my phone back until Sunday, yesterday, like around almost 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 3:30.
Right.
So I never felt more naked in my life than I have these past 2-3 days, right?
I noticed that you were strangely quiet.
Right, yes. And the whole time I'm thinking, my brother and Cousin Jay are going to think that, because the Giants lost, I don't want to text this and that, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I had the shit talking in the bag ready to pop it out, win or lose, right? But I couldn't because I had no phone. So it's funny that yesterday I grabbed my phone and all these text messages are coming through, and I'm like, holy shit, I've never felt more popular in my life than right now, because my little message thing said like 32. I had 32 messages. And so I see your text and I'm like, oh man. I was like, shit, that would have been cool, because on Saturday I went to run on the track with my wife and my daughter. I know.
You ran? Like for real?
I ran for real, but I really didn't run. I jogged.
Okay, good.
I sped walk.
There you go. I'm the runner here in the family.
Yeah. So I ran a whole mile, okay? I ran 1 whole mile.
You know that's 4 laps, not one, right?
4 laps. I know. Okay. I ran 1 lap, but I'm like, oh shit, I ran a mile. And then my wife is like, no, you got to run 3 more. I'm like, oh shit. So we get back from the track, right? And it's around 11 in the morning. And I go real quick to the mall. I go drop off my phone so they can fix it. I come back home and I'm like, and I haven't eaten anything, right? And so I'm like, man, I'm fucking hungry. But there's nothing at the house that I really wanted to eat.
Right.
So I tell my wife, hey, I'm going to Wild Wing Cafe. I'm going to go grab me a cheesesteak from Wild Wing Cafe and 2 beers. That's exactly what I was going for. And so I get there. The bar is semi-full. The tables they're kind of full.
Right.
And so I'm like, all right, cool. So, some college football is going on. I'm sitting there. Next thing you know, this elderly lady comes and sits 2 chairs next to me.
Right.
And so, respecting the whole social distancing stuff, right? And so she sits down and, about 10, 15 minutes pass, and she says, "Are you here for the fights?" And I'm like, "No, what fights?" And she's like, "Oh, there's UFC on." I'm like, "Oh," and I noticed that the prelims were on, but at that time, I didn't know they were prelims.
Right.
And so I'm like, "Oh, I thought that's like replay or something," or I didn't know what it was, right? And I tell her, "No, I'm not really a fan of UFC." I told her I'll watch the big pay-per-views, here and there, but I'm not really a big fan. I told her I'm mostly here for the college football and the beer and the cheesesteak, right? And she's like, "Oh, okay, well, or today, this afternoon, is a big pay-per-view." And
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh, really?" I'm like, "Okay, cool." So time passes by, a couple of minutes, turns into an hour, turns into 2 hours. Next thing you know, I'm having more than 2 beers.
Right.
I'm on my second meal. I'm watching the fights. And I feel at this point like I have a date, because this lady, as sweet as she can be, I mean, she was really cool. I mean, she would make the perfect girlfriend, because she knew a shitload about sports. She knew her fighters. She knew the UFC.
Right.
She's from Chicago. Catherine is her name. And I'll tell you what, man, you couldn't have beat this date, because I had a fucking ton of fun with her. I didn't know her from a hole in the wall, man. And I ended up, long story short, I ended up staying there for the whole fight. Like I didn't come home till like 4 o'clock. So, and at this point, mind you, reminder, I have no phone.
Phone.
So
Yeah.
my wife couldn't text me even if she thought about it. And so, yo, man, I had a fucking great time. And I mean, like, we had great conversation. And I mean, like I said, she knew her sports, right? At a sports bar. That's fucking great. And I might go there tomorrow again, because she said she was going for two for one Tuesday. So I'm like, hey, baby, I'll introduce you to my wife and kids. I'm like, yo, lovely lady, man. I had a really good time. And then I saw your text yesterday. I'm like, oh shit.
That's
But
awesome.
yeah, it ended up working out. So
That's awesome. And you know what that really says? We really need to put the phone down more often, right? Like,
bingo.
because you might not have had as much of a good time if you're sitting there texting the whole time. Your wife wants to know where you are. You're talking shit to us, and there's someone next to you who's watching the fights and a good time, and you probably miss it because you're on your phone. I try to make it a point when I go out to watch fights and stuff. If I'm by myself, I might look at my phone some, but if I'm out with other people, I put my phone face down and I try not to look at it. I try to have fun with the people I'm there with, Like you said, I went to Hooters. A buddy of mine met me there, and we ate a bunch of food and watched the fights and shot the breeze and stuff. And he's one of these guys. He's on his phone constantly, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes I'm like, "The hell?" So maybe go out without your phone more often, or at least put it face down and don't mess with it. We just spend too much time in our phone.
We do. No, like jokingly, but seriously, I agree with you.
Yeah, that's good. Hey, speaking of the fights, what did you think of the main event?
Well, I mean, all Khabib had to do was take him down, and then
Yeah.
I'm not even going to try to pronounce the American name. He can't be American with a last name like that. How do you pronounce that?
Gaethje.
Yeah.
He's
Ginchi.
American. He's
American.
American as fuck.
It's funny. The whole bar obviously was cheering for him.
Right.
And inside me, I was like, and I never watched the guy fight. I mean, I'm going off of Khabib, what I've saw in the past, right? And I'm like, he's not gonna beat Khabib. And then the whole bar just like silence.
Yeah, Khabib is just, I mean, it's just insane how good he is, and now it's to the point where his reputation almost makes it easier for him to win, right? Gaethje is, a striker. He's got good leg kicks. He's got good anti-wrestling, right? Because he's a wrestler himself.
Right.
But when you stand in front of Khabib, everybody's so afraid of getting taken down and getting mauled down there that they don't let their hands go. They don't let the kicks go because they're afraid Khabib's going to come under. And it just makes it easier for Khabib. I mean, Khabib actually stood there and struck with him for a while because Gaethje did not really throw like Gaethje throws, right?
Right.
And I mean, Khabib is just at this point, Khabib wins almost as much because of his reputation as he does because of his skills. And don't get me wrong, he's highly skilled, and now he's retired. So
Yeah.
that's the end of that.
How long does he stay retired?
I think he will stay retired. He's a different cat, like he's from Dagestan, and he's insanely popular outside of the U.S. He's insanely popular in Russia, in the Middle East, because he's Muslim. He's insanely popular. Probably the second most popular Muslim athlete on the planet. The only guy who might be more popular is Mo Salah, the forward that plays for Liverpool soccer, right? Mm-hmm. And so he's made a ton of money, and he probably doesn't need as much money to be a bajillionaire in Dagestan as you would here, right? Like if you have $10 million in the bank here, you're just kind of like a millionaire, kind of like a shrug of the shoulders millionaire. $10 million in Dagestan, you're probably like Bill Gates, right? Like you're that kind of rich. And, his comments about, his dad passed away not too long ago. And he promised his mom that he wasn't going to do this anymore without his dad. And he's married. I don't know if he has kids. I don't think he does. But, he's probably at that age where he's probably thinking about having kids and whatnot. And so I think he doesn't really need to fight. He's not concerned. If the UFC were ever able to put together the fight with him and George St. Pierre, I think he might do that. But I don't think he will, and I don't think the UFC really wants to do it because they wouldn't want to do it for the belt because they don't want St. Pierre and now even Khabib, right, to win and dip out. There's nothing worse than having your champion, win a belt and then say sayonara.
Right.
So they wouldn't make it for a belt, and if it's not for a belt, I don't know that. The UFC is just really not inclined in doing the whole super fight for big name's sake. They want to continue to put the value on their belts, and so they don't do that. So I think he's retired for good.
I think he'll stay retired for a little bit. I think with time everything heals.
Mm-hmm.
And that maybe at some point his mom and him will sit down and he'll have the urge to fight, or somebody may call him out or something, or for the right price, he may come back and fight maybe a couple years down the line or whatever. And I think it'll be pretty cool if he does come back and his mom is in the corner next time. I think that would be pretty cool. No, seriously, I think that would be awesome.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. Part of me says he has strong family values.
Yeah.
That he wants to keep his word to his mother, right? So, I can see him being retired for good too.
Yeah. And I mean, he's one of the best fighters ever. He's obviously got a place in history. He's got a place in that conversation of the best MMA fighter ever.
Yeah.
He's up there with John Jones and George St. Pierre. I mean, he's in that conversation now. He's beaten everybody. He's hasn't lost a round. I mean, I think they say he's lost one round.
Damn.
Which is kind of insane. 29 fights. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Even if they only go 2 rounds, to lose only 1 round in 58 rounds that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, that's insane.
It's just incredible. His wrestling is just at a different. I mean, it's just insane how good he is, how strong he is. Every single guy that loses to him, when they ask him what they thought about him or what surprised them, they're always surprised at how strong he is. And I'm like, to me, because he's not like one of these big muscled up guys, right? But apparently there's something about him. I heard an interview with Ali Aquinta, a guy who fought Khabib and lost. He said he weighs 100. He weighs in at 155 on Friday. On fight night, he's probably 175 because he cuts a lot of weight to get down. He probably weighs 175. But when he's on top of you, it feels like 600 pounds.
Damn.
Wrestling strength, man.
Yeah.
Well, Moving on from one champion to one about to be champion. The World Series, the Dodgers and the Rays. I tell you what, we just had Game 5 last night. The Dodgers are up 3-2. This series has been wildly entertaining. And I don't know about you, but at 3-2 Dodgers, I don't think it's over. I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that the Dodgers are going to win this thing. I mean, they are in a fight with the Tampa Bay Rays. The Rays are not going to go away quietly.
No, it doesn't seem like it. I do think the Dodgers are, we said it last week, like of course they both want to win, right? But I just feel like the Dodgers are now, they're right there. You know what I mean? Like it feels like there's nothing that can stop them from winning this. Like, I think they win Game 6. I mean, it's a different type of team. You know what I mean? Like they just look a little more. Their goal is just a little different.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I would kind of agree with you about the Dodgers winning, except for one thing. The pitching really kind of sets up better for the Rays at this point. So in spite of being down 3-2, they've got Blake Snell going in Game 6, Charlie Morton going in Game 7. The Dodgers apparently are going to take Game 6 to be a bullpen day, and then they'll come back with Walker Buehler in a possible Game 7. And I think that might very well be the difference, man. Charlie Morton is probably one of the best clutch pitchers we've seen in a long time. He did it with the Astros in 2017. He's done it again this year with the Rays. And if I'm the Rays, I'm not thinking this is over. It's not like they haven't gotten their doors blown off in any single game. They've been in every single game. And, with those two starters coming up, and the other thing, the Dodgers bullpen has been good, but they've used it a lot, probably more than they really would have wanted. Kenley Jansen does not look like he's going to be effective against this Rays lineup. Dustin May had a great outing last night in relief, but now they've seen him a couple times. What could happen with him? If he comes, in a game, and the only other guy really is Arias. And so it looks, I almost dare to say it looks dicey for the Dodgers. How is that possible, right? When you're up 3-2, it looks dicey for the other guy. But to me, it actually looks a little scarier for the Dodgers. If I'm a Dodgers fan, I'm not comfortable at all.
Yeah, no, I mean, it does. The pitching matchups do set up well for the Rays, but we've talked about it before. The Dodgers lineup is just too clutch, man. I mean, how many 2-out RBIs have they gotten? I mean, this postseason, they keep on bringing up that stat during the World Series, and every time they bring it up, you think that's a jinx, and it's not. Like they just get the 2-out hits, and it's been Max Muncy, it's been Jock Peterson yesterday, it's been Bellinger. Corey Seager has continued his high hitting. Austin Barnes, the catcher. I mean, he's been playing well, and they're not only beating the Rays. The 3 games, even all 5 games, it hasn't been by the home. Only by the long ball. Like they're playing small ball.
Yeah.
So I just think their lineup is just too deep. Yeah, at the end of the day.
It's crazy. It almost feels like the Dodgers should have won this series already. When you talk about all the runs that they've scored with 2 outs and the lineup and the pitching, and I'm telling you, that almost scares me. It almost scares me because it feels like they should have won 4 of these 5 games already, and yet here we are 3-2, and the pitching matchups don't really come in their favor going forward. I'm telling you, it's scary. And for me, as a fan of baseball, without a dog in the fight, I am really looking forward to tomorrow night. I'm really looking forward to Wednesday night because I think we're going to have a Game 7.
Man, and if it goes 7, I mean, fuck. How could you not trust Walker Buehler? The guy has been pitching lights out this postseason, man.
Yeah.
I mean, his postseason career, he's got like crazy numbers. I mean, he's been really, really good. Him and his fucking tight pants. He's been really good. Is there anyone that wears tighter pants than Walker Buehler?
He really is a walking fashion statement, right? He's got the bright blue glove, the tight pants. I mean, it almost looks like they're tapered, huh? It's like he's going from the ballpark straight to the club.
Right, yeah.
He might change his shirt.
He just needs the collared shirt, you know, with the 747 Bowen collar, you know, and on the button down, and he's ready.
I feel like after the game, he just, you know, takes off his shirt, puts a little dash of cologne, puts on a new shirt, and off to the club he goes.
like if they win, he's not gonna say, "I'm going to Disneyland." He's gonna say, "I'm going to fucking catch some Saturday Night Fever."
That's right.
Disco.
Yeah, I'm gonna go do a little dancing tonight.
Yeah.
So you think the Dodgers sew it up tomorrow?
Yeah. I mean, you know, the way the Rays won Game 4. I mean, I said Dodgers in 5. This series should be over already. The Rays got one. The Rays squeaked one out, and that's cool. That's good. They earned it. They capitalized on the mistake. I don't think the Dodgers forgive him in Game 6.
I tell you what, that Game 4 was something else. That last inning, that last half inning, well, the whole game, right? They were just back and forth, huh?
Yeah, the whole game, because it felt like from innings 4 or 5 and on, it was just a tennis match.
Yeah,
it kept going back and forth.
Yeah, and that last play in the game, you know, the Dodgers really make 2 errors on that play, and I mean the game was tied. I don't think Taylor was going to get the lead runner at the plate anyway, so the game was tied. We were going to keep going. But then, you know, the mistake by Taylor in center field, and then the catcher, if a Rosarena doesn't fall, a Rosarena's probably out. The catcher probably catches the ball, does a sweep tag, and gets him. We even had an attempted steal of home last night. Did you see that? I mean, it's just this series has just been incredible. It's been a great series by both teams. I just feel like the pitching really scares me for the Dodgers.
Yeah.
But it'll be fun.
Yeah,
it'll be fun.
Yeah, it should be fun. I don't know. I'm glad Kershaw turned in 2 really good outings.
He's had a really good postseason.
He has. Because look, if even if the Dodgers won the games that he pitched in the World Series, but he didn't pitch them as good as, you know, everyone expects him to.
Mm-hmm.
Look, the guy is an 8-time All-Star, 3-time Cy Young Award winner, 1 MVP. People were going to talk about how he doesn't pitch well in the postseason. That's what people were going to talk about. That's what I was going to talk about, because I think the greats need to step up in great situations like the World Series. So I'm glad he got to pitch well.
Yeah, he has pitched masterfully. I didn't think they should have taken him out last night when they did, but I mean, I have no complaints about his performance. I mean, he's been nails, and he's been really good in the World Series, but he's been good throughout the playoffs. You know, you kind of feel like he's not even a number 2 anymore, but he has really shown out in these playoffs. Going on to football. So we had week 7 of the NFL season. I tell you what, there's 2 things you can count on every week in the NFL. You can count on a trash Thursday night game, and you can count on a super exciting, fun Sunday night game. It seems like they've scheduled it with, you know, like they have ESP. They just know these 2 teams suck. We're going to put them on Thursday night, and it's going to be an unwatchable game. And we'll put these two teams on Sunday night, and it'll be a great game, and we'll have an outstanding performance by both teams. And this week, we got exactly that. Thursday night, garbage. Last night,
that game was pretty good.
huh?
Actually, the Thursday night game ended up being not a bad game, except for the result. But I mean, it ended up being a decent game.
It was a bad game. I mean, it was pretty bad throughout. And then it got worse at the end because one team just folded with an 11-point lead. They just folded, and they let the Eagles come back and win that game. And the Eagles look like garbage throughout.
I don't think the Thursday night game was that bad. I think we've seen worse.
Well, yeah.
But that one was all right. The Sunday night game was fabulous. Is there ever a primetime Seahawks game that is not exciting, that is not controversial? Like, seriously, every primetime game that they play in is just there's always something going on.
Yeah. They need to put what they need to do is they need to put the Seahawks on Thursday night, and then the Thursday night game will be good. Right? Yeah, because you're right. If they're on prime time, it's an incredible game. And last night was no different. Just an incredible football game by the Cardinals and the Seahawks, and the Cardinals squeaked that one out. I tell you what, I'm sure the rest of the NFC was pretty happy that that Arizona did that, because the Seahawks were not, I won't say running away with the NFC, but they'd have been 6-0, the only undefeated team in the NFC, and that would have been hard to match. Speaking of undefeated, you did not give this team any credit before the season started.
I'm still not going to.
In fact, I think I saw a tweet where you were still calling them pretenders.
Pretenders, that's right.
You are, my friend, you are dead wrong. The Pittsburgh Steelers are a contender. And let me tell you this, not only are they a contender, they are a very serious contender. Offensively, they can put up points with the best of them. And defensively, they're not bad. And so, while I still think the Chiefs are the best team in the AFC, if the Steelers and the Chiefs meet in the playoffs, I'm telling you, we're in for a dandy of a game, and not an easy win for the Chiefs if they have to meet up with the Steelers at some point.
Yeah, I'll wait a little more. I'll wait a little longer to
the season's over.
Right now, I'm still not believing in them. So,
That was another good game. That first
drive, good win for them, though.
Huh?
That was a good win. That was a good win against the Titans.
Yeah, absolutely. That first drive that they put on Tennessee, 100 yards of offense, right? Because the penalties push it back a little bit. They ended up 100 yards of offense, and it was a 9.5-minute drive. They basically ate up the entire first quarter. It was – I saw that, and I was like, well, hello there.
Yeah.
They are – I think they're for real. Huh?
They still gave up a 20-point lead.
No, they didn't give it up because they won.
Well, no, they gave it up because it wasn't there anymore.
No, they didn't give it up.
There, you give it up.
Giving up a 20-point lead means you fall behind at some point. They never fell behind.
That's not true. When you give up something, give up your peanut butter and jelly sandwich, you no longer have it.
No. They gave up 3/4 or 7/8 of the peanut butter and jelly sandwich, but they still had that little piece left, the 3 points that they won by.
Because of a missed field goal.
Whatever. Hey, look, Tennessee never tied that game, so they didn't give up a 20-point lead. They only gave up 17 points worth.
Oh, okay.
They only gave
up
5% of their lead.
Well, I'm still waiting. I need to see more. I need to see more from the Steelers. Hey, going back on the Cardinals real quick.
Yeah.
That's a stingy fucking defense. You Cardinal fans need to be excited because that's a real stingy defense. They're often, I mean, this kid Kyler Murray, obviously, I think is showing that size doesn't matter
Man,
when
he
it
looks
comes to
good.
right. Like Russell Wilson defeated those odds. I think Drew Brees has defeated those odds. You know, every 5'7" kid that is planning to become a NFL quarterback, don't give up because obviously, you know, you can make something out of nothing. But the Cardinals got a good defense, man. I mean, to have Russell Wilson throw 3 interceptions, although you know he still had like 3 touchdowns and whatever 300 yards passing, but I mean, he looked uncomfortable there at times. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and here's the scary thing. I mean, you're saying they have a good defense. There was 1,000 yards of offense in that game. Both teams went over 500 yards of offense, but you're right. I do think that the Cardinals have a good defense, and Kyler Murray Kyler Murray has some weapons now, so it's not all on him. He's got DeAndre Hopkins, Larry Fitzgerald. That guy, he's not going to go for 100 catches and 1,500 yards anymore. But man, he's still solid. He's still a good receiver to have on the field. He'll bail you out when you get into trouble. The running game is not bad. That offense looks good. And look, they put 37 on a Seahawks defense that isn't bad itself, right?
Yeah, definitely.
What did you think?
So everybody in the NFC West is over 500, and I think would make the playoffs right now if they were to start today. Which is pretty insane.
Yeah. And quite frankly, they all should make the playoffs, and they should take a spot away from the NFC East.
That should happen, yes.
That is, I mean, it is. The NFC East is on a week like this, where they all played division games, right? So you had the Giants play the Eagles on Thursday night, and then the Cowboys and the Washington football team played yesterday. Oh my God, that's unwatchable. I mean, if you had, I don't want to say anything disparaging, but if you had the blind football league, it would be more watchable than that. I mean, it was terrible. That Cowboys team is a mess, and I think it starts at the top. McCarthy's not going to make it. McCarthy may not make it through the season. He may get fired before the season's over. That team has quit. That team has completely quit. When an opposing player puts a dirty hit like that on your quarterback, I don't care if it's Dak Prescott, the backup, or the third string guy who I don't even know his name, but when an opposing player does that to your quarterback and no one does anything, no one says anything, no one gets in his face, there's no impending fight, nothing, that team has quit, and they've quit on McCarthy. And I don't know what McCarthy has done in that locker room to lose a team so fast, but they've checked out. They've absolutely checked out.
Yeah, I found that mind blowing too. That not one player went over to the Washington guy and said anything. I mean, I would have been shoving and punching. I mean, at least say something, get in his face, right? But yeah. I don't know what to say. I don't know.
And that hit,
but yeah, you're right. It starts at the top.
Yeah, and that hit was dirty. And that guy needs to get suspended. Huh?
He's not getting suspended.
I don't understand that. I don't understand that at all. That guy needs to be suspended ASAP.
I agree.
Absolutely.
Did you see the Falcons found another way to lose even though they scored?
We saw it twice this weekend. We saw it twice. It happened in college football too. Penn State.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Same thing. The first down was on the 4. and the Penn State guy easily got the first down. They weren't letting him score. They just opened up a big hole. He went and he tried to stop, like he remembered at the very last second, and he ended up falling into the end zone. And then Indiana came back, scored a touchdown, tied it up, went into overtime, and Indiana won. Yeah, the Falcons. You can't blame Quinn.
No, you can't blame.
But they're still finding. He must have left a certain playbook in there on how to lose games.
Yeah, he definitely left a losing aura in Atlanta because, god damn, I don't understand.
Incredible. It's incredible. They seem to be going out of their way to lose games.
Yeah.
Against a Lions team that's not very good.
What other game was good? So everybody's on the Bucks bandwagon now, I guess, because today's definitely an overreaction day because people are just gushing over Tom Brady, and now they signed Antonio Brown, which I don't think he's going to have a huge effect because
no, that offense was fine without him.
I mean, he's supposed to play for in 2 weeks against the Saints on Sunday Night Football. That should be a good game.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Look,
I'm holding my horses on the Buccaneers too.
I'm not overreacting, but I mean, I told you before the season started, I thought the Buccaneers would be a good team because again, if you were 8-8 with a quarterback throwing 30 interceptions, and now you get the greatest of all time to be your quarterback. I mean, you got to be better than 8-8. They're 5-2. Looks like they're going to be better than 8-8. So I'm not saying they're going to win the whole thing, but not looking bad. They look like a good football team, which is what I expected.
Yeah.
In the AFC, you got the Bills in a close one with the Jets. 8 points is considered close when you're the Jets. There's another team that has mailed it in. But now the Bills, especially with the trials and tribulations of the Patriots, the Bills have a 2-game lead on the Dolphins and a 3-game lead on the Patriots in the win column. Now the Bills look like they're going to win that division, and they have not been overly impressive the last 2 weeks. But 5-2 is 5-2, and yeah, maybe they're not world beaters, but they're going to be a problem, and they're going to make the playoffs, so they can get themselves healthy and do something in the playoffs, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, they still have, they still got to play. They got the luxury of playing within the division still, so that's gonna, few more wins for them. Maybe they can creep up and get one of the byes.
Well, there's only one bye, right?
Oh, there's only one bye?
Right, because they've added a playoff team.
A top seed.
Right. And that's going to be – I mean, I can't imagine – look, you've got the Steelers at 6-0, the Ravens at 5-1, the Titans at 5-1, and the Chiefs at 6-1. So you've got 4 teams there with 1 loss or less. The Bills have 2 losses. Their schedule's not that easy the rest of the way. I mean, granted, their division games are pretty easy, but – I don't know that they'll make it to the top spot, but it should be interesting, right? Because with only one team getting a bye, you figure the Steelers and the Ravens will kind of beat each other up, but then the Titans and the Chiefs, they pretty much got to go, pedal to the metal the whole way because that bye week is a big deal.
Yeah, see, the reason I don't think the Steelers will keep that number 1 spot, they still got to play the Ravens. They still have to play a Browns team that is finding ways to win now, that is playing a lot better. And they got to play the Bengals who can put up a lot of points. So, it's not going to be they're not going to have it as easy as the Chiefs have it. That's just my opinion.
Not as easy as the Chiefs, but look, the Ravens are their only competition. Cleveland's gotten lucky, let's face it. they
Yeah, but you know how those division games look. You can be 0-10 and 10-0 and playing within the division, and you'll lose. The 0-10 team will win. It's those division games are tough sometimes. You know,
yeah, no
and the
doubt.
Browns,
But now they've
you
got
know,
the Browns now have OBJ is probably done for the season, right? I think he tore his ACL, so he's done for the year. Baker Mayfield, I mean, Baker still doesn't. I don't know. He's not doing it for me. I still see a lot of problems. He still makes very poor decisions. He's got weapons, and he's still making bad decisions. And their wins are against Cincinnati. Here, hold on. They beat Cincinnati. I know they beat Dallas. They've got some soft wins in there. So yeah, they're 5-2. But look, they beat the Bengals.
Steelers did too.
Huh?
The Steelers do too. The best team they face so far is the Titans.
And
they played nobody.
And they beat them. And they beat them handily. The Browns have beat
barely.
Listen, the Browns have beat the Bengals twice, right? Both games, close games against a Bengals team that's not good. They've beaten Washington and the Cowboys. They've 4 of their wins are trash.
Bro, the only team that the fucking Steelers have beaten, and they barely beat it because of a missed field goal, was the Titans. They played the Giants, the Broncos, the Texans, the Eagles, and the Browns. So,
the Texans are a better team than their record, right? They're the best 1-6 team out there.
I don't know about now. Maybe the last 2 years. I don't know about this year, bro.
Yeah, look, they're the best 1-6 team in the NFL, right? I mean, are they not?
Not this year.
And look, the Steelers have already beat the brakes off the Browns.
Huh?
The Steelers have already beat the brakes off the Browns.
Yeah, but now that's early in the season. Now the Browns have kind of found their mojo.
Yeah, because they've played a bunch of crappy teams. That's not
Why is this not?
That's favorable scheduling.
So the outside teams looking in the AFC.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. There you go.
Shit, we're not even talking about Indianapolis, and they're 4-2.
Well, I told you. I told you about Indianapolis. 2 more wins, and my record is good. Well, fuck, I can't pull it up now.
Let's see. So you got the Steelers, the Chiefs, the Titans, and the Bills as division winners. Then you'd have the Ravens, the Browns, and the Colts as wild card. And then you've got the Dolphins at 3-3, the Raiders at 3-3, and then Chargers, Broncos, and Patriots at 2-4 on the outside looking in. Man, I
still think the Raiders could sneak in there.
The Raiders could get hot. The Raiders are not a bad football team. They've had a couple of hiccups, but they also have a tougher schedule, I think.
Yeah.
So it should be fun to see them going forward. The Texans, Jaguars, and Jets, Bengals, those 4 teams. Look, the Jets have mailed it in. The Texans look like they've mailed it in. And the Jaguars are not very good. So, and the Bengals are not very good.
No. Although Burrow is playing great football for a rookie.
Yeah, there's a promising future there, but it is the future. It's not this year.
Well, we'll see. You know, right now they're playing a lot from behind, so his numbers are going to be very passer friendly.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So let's see when you know things are kind of they're put in different situations, see how he responds to that.
That defense is not good.
No.
The NFC looks pretty interesting too. You've got the Bears and the Seahawks at 5-1, the Buccaneers at 5-2. And someone's got to come out of the NFC East. We won't even talk about that division. So those would be your 4 division winners, and then you'd have the Seahawks at 5-1, Packers at 5-1, and the Cardinals at 5-2. followed very closely by the Rams at 4-2, the Saints at 4-2, and San Francisco at 4-3. I mean, that's the playoff rush in the NFC is going to be fantastic because there's a lot of good football teams, and one of those spots is kind of pissed away with the NFC East. It's going to be quite interesting. I think the Niners the Niners just keep getting bit by the injury bug. They had another running back go down. What's his name? Mostert. Yeah, he went down. So the injuries are just killing the Niners. I don't think they're going to be able to sustain it. But the rest, man, that's a tough go. Critical game tonight between the Bears and the Rams. Who do you think wins that game tonight?
I think the Rams win. I don't know. The Bears, they're playing well. They're finding ways to win. I think it's only so long St. Nick can save them.
Yeah, and you were talking earlier about pretenders. To me, the Bears, pretender.
Yeah.
It's only a matter of time before reality catches up with them.
Man, the 49ers, they're on the outside looking in, but they got the strength of schedule is the easiest right now. Win percentage of .380.
The injuries are killing that team.
Well, they still have to play the rest of the NFC East, so those are wins right there that you don't.
Well, hold on. They've already played all of them. Well, they played.
Oh, have they?
They played Miami. They played the Jets, and they played New
England.
No,
the NFC East.
Oh, the NFC East. Well, there's a bunch of wins right there.
Yeah, they already beat the Giants, so you might as well chalk up another 3 wins for them.
Oh, yeah, I've been doing this math, right? There's 12.
They lost to the Eagles.
Yeah, they did a couple weeks ago.
They lost to the Eagles. Wow.
I've been doing this math, right? So each team plays 16 games in the NFC East, right? But 12 of every team is going to play each other, right? So there's 24 games on the schedule for those teams between them. So that's 12 wins right there, right? How many more wins are they going to get outside of the division? I don't even think they're going to get 12 wins outside of the division. They're going to have more wins in their division games than outside.
That's at this point, that's very possible. That's, when you think about that, damn, it's bad.
The only reason that one of those teams is going to make it to 3 wins next week is because the Cowboys and the Eagles play each other. Otherwise, they might be like 2-5 going into week 8 or week 9.
And that tie may end up saving the Eagles.
That may be the difference. That may absolutely be the difference. In most years, a tie would be really considered half a loss. But in this year, it's half a win.
Yeah.
In a division that bad, it's half a win.
It's amazing. They hold the 4 seed right now. And they would host a playoff game.
That is tragic. Although, for the 5 seed, you really want to be, if you can't win your division, you want to be the best wild card because you got an easy win in that first round of the playoffs.
That's right. Yeah.
So that'll be interesting. All right, man. You got anything else?
No, that's it, man. Another pod in the books.
Another wonderful episode of the Positive Sports Podcast. As always, folks.
Hey, man, I was going to say, you need to catch up on the, against the spread challenge on ESPN.
Yeah, well, you had one really good week, and then I had one really bad week, and now I'm way behind.
Yeah, you're way behind.
There's plenty to go, my friend.
I need to start betting these games, but I'm afraid once I start doing that, I'll start losing.
Exactly. Are you above 500?
On this challenge?
Yeah. Because it counts wins, but it doesn't count losses.
I don't know. I should be. I think I am.
You got to go back and check and see if you can be above 500 for a season. That's pretty good.
How many games? 15 games? No.
Well, there's
How many
16,
games?
16 games a week, but now the teams are getting bye weeks, you're getting 14, maybe 13, maybe 15, usually
I think
14.
that week of 11 helped me out because I've been around 7 and 8, 2 sixes here and there, and then that 11. So I might be hovering 500.
I think I don't think I've gone past 8, and I had one was like 4.
Yeah, it's
That's
not
not
easy
good.
betting against the spread.
Huh?
It's not easy betting against the spread.
It's amazing to me how often Vegas gets it right, or like
Yeah,
really damn close. It's incredible.
yeah.
All righty, folks. As always, if you want to reach out to the show, you can email the show, positivesports10@gmail.com, positivesports10@gmail.com. If you want to get a hold of Alex, my friend, how do they do that?
On Twitter at Brooklyn Gaucho 1.
I'm glad you're not in Twitter jail. If you want to get a hold of me, you can do so on Twitter as well at eMontana21. You got anything else to say?
Nah, man. Just tune in next week and go catch all the episodes that you've missed. Damn
That's
it.
right. If you've been following me on Twitter, you've seen that in the last week, I've been putting out a message about how many days until Election Day. And I'm going to say it now here. I don't care if you vote or don't vote. We are coming close to an election that will change our country. All I have to say is this. I love you all, regardless of race, creed, or color. And at the end of the day, we are all Americans. We are one. Let's be united as one. We are the United States of America. Let's be united. Let's be Americans at the end of the day. So with that, ignore the negativity. Be the positivity.
Peace.